in Louisiana. Stunned the heck out of me. There's a justice of the peace that refused to marry an interracial couple. And what's crazy about that is I guarantee interracial couples and minorities are often refused some service or another based on their race. But most people don't tell you, I'm not serving you because you're black, or I'm not picking you up in the cab because you're black, or I'm not going to marry you because you're interracial. Most people aren't going to say that. Whereas I guess this guy felt like, you know, big deal. I don't know if he understood the law means a justice of the peace. That implies that he's got some training in, at the very least, the basic legal requirements for marriage, which is that we don't place any impediments on race when you want to be married. We don't govern what races can be married anymore. Thanks to Loving versus Virginia, but anyway, so this guy refused to marry this couple, and I guess they were just astounded, and then that just sort of opened this whole can of worms where we find out that he's done this in the past before, and he admits that he's done it, and that it's not that he is racist, but that he feels like the children that these couples would likely produce would have such horrible lives. And you know, there's certainly no secret that that being interracial in any country, probably, but certainly at least from my vantage point in America, comes with its share of problems. But honest to goodness, I don't know there are any more problems than anyone else encounters. So certainly it comes with its own set of problems. But you know, again, that wouldn't matter. As the justice of the peace, it's not up to me to decide. But I guess the guy felt justified. You know, this is another one of those that I'll leave up to your judgment. Take a look.
Everybody hates me. I mean, really. And I don't know why. I mean, I treat people, you know, I figure equal, good. I have one problem with marrying mixed race marriages, and that is the offspring. My definition of as a racist is to hate black people or treat black people different than anybody else.
Okie dokie, let's move on to something that I find cuckoo. And I have to talk about this because I don't want to talk about it, but I have to talk about it because it's insane. Rapper 50 Cent, or 50 Cent as he prefers to be called, has a song out, and I just don't even know. Has a song out called Have My Baby Girl Become a Millionaire, Have a Baby by Me, Baby, Be a Millionaire, Be a Millionaire, Be a Millionaire. You know, listen, I'm not a big fan of rap, but I like some rap, and I certainly like a lot of the beats. And I like some of the lyrics. You know, T.I.'s lyrics are just, you know, really exquisite, and he really crafts his lyrics like any other songwriter would. And you have a lot of people like that. Tupac, obviously, was certainly a wordsmith. But I think when we get to the point where we're telling girls that if you marry me, or I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself, not marry me, just have a baby by me, that in and of itself will somehow make you a millionaire. And I'm sure there's probably the spirit behind it of, like, you know, girls try to trick rich guys into becoming fathers and thereby getting some type of, you know, custody, settlement money, some type of child support that they then themselves live off of, which is ridiculous. So I'm sure that's sort of in there, but it wouldn't matter. I mean, I don't know. Have a baby by me, girl. Become a millionaire. I'll become a millionaire on my own, but thanks, 50 Cent. I'm good. And then also in music, Rihanna, singer Rihanna, sat down with Diane Sawyer to talk about that infamous fight with Chris Brown. Take a look.
I just wanted it to stop. I was not interested in hurting him back. All I kept thinking the whole time, when is it going to stop? When is it going to stop? When people can hear me screaming, when he's parked in a neighborhood and we're right in front of somebody's house. There's no way of me getting home, except for my next option was to get out of the car and start walking in a gown and a bloody face.
Chris Brown actually responded to her interview and said that he felt that night should have remained private. He's maintained that all along, that he didn't really want to talk about that night in detail. He will acknowledge that it happened. I guess when you plead guilty to a crime and are sentenced for that crime, it's kind of hard to then say I didn't commit that crime, although many have tried. But basically he just said that he felt like it should remain private, and that he respected her right to handle it however she felt, but that his personal feeling was it should remain private. That's probably the problem. So many women of domestic violence remain quiet and remain silent. And so you have people who feel like they are all alone because as far as they know, no one else is going through this. They don't see anybody else going through it. No one talks about it. And so for him to have said that, I can understand him feeling that way. Most criminals don't want their crimes disclosed. However, you have to understand that the only way that these things stop is if that information gets out there and people start being aware that there are things they can do and places they can go. And then, you know, just knowing that you're not alone, that kind of information can, you know, be a lifesaver to many people. And so I was pretty disappointed that he said that. He tried to soften it by saying, you know, he respects her right to say whatever she wants and that he still supports her and hopes she supports him. But I thought it just showed his youth. He did an interview with Sway as well on MTV. And I got the impression that Sway just really wanted to just grab him by the throat and just shake some sense into him. The conversation was clearly a man talking to a child. And it's sad because this boy is really a kid. He really is a kid. It showed so clearly in that video, in case people forget and think this was some grown man beating up some, you know, little girl. This is a kid. And he certainly did a dumb thing and certainly should pay the price for that and should never be able to come within 100 feet of Rihanna again as far as I'm concerned. But what I saw was a child. He doesn't have a clue. He doesn't get it. He doesn't have a clue. And so I think it is probably best for him that this keeps coming out because the more it comes out, the more he's getting a clue, I think. I think the more he sees how seriously the rest of us have taken it, maybe it'll start to sink in. This was a big deal. This wasn't a fight. A fight, everybody gets to swing. Somebody got beaten, and that's not the same thing. So hopefully he's catching on. Hopefully he's catching on. We'll see. Well, thank you for joining me for another episode of Week in News. I'm Pilar Davis. That's going to do it for me today. Have a good week. Bye.